All right, guys, so I wanted to go ahead and make this video so that I could explain to you kind of what you need to do today since I obviously can't be with you. So remember, we're doing Wingfield Pines. We are working in those groups now. You have already set up forms of communication with your groups, so you should have no problem getting with your groups today, being able to communicate effectively back and forth during class time. I highly recommend setting up your own personal Google Meets so that you guys can communicate back and forth very easily on what you guys need to do today. So the first thing that I want to point out is this Wingfield Pines case study. Now this is the page that we already looked at yesterday or Tuesday when we were first introducing this topic. Remember, we downloaded this group work guidelines, and I'm going to show you what to do with that here in a second. But this is kind of where we need to start, is with this Wingfield Pines case study. It gives you all the information. If you haven't made a copy of that, the big Google Doc that you guys are going to have to turn in at the end, that 14-pager. I know it sounds super long, but I promise you it won't be that long. Please make sure that your group technician, your group member technician, goes ahead and does that, or at least somebody in your group make a copy of this one and then share it with everybody in your group. Okay. I want to go back up and I want to talk about this group work guidelines page first, because within this, remember, this is one of those things that you have to turn in. And I really think everybody should be able to turn it in today, though it's not due until tomorrow. I think everybody should be able to get this thing done today. Remember, you got to tell me who exactly is doing what within your group, and then you have to provide some sort of piece of evidence to indicate to me that you have done something for your group. So if that is a picture, if that is a screenshot of something, anything that you have done that can give me some sort of indication that you have contributed to your group, you should be able to do that today. Everybody should contribute in some way today, and if you're not, that's a problem. If you cannot get this done by today, that's an issue. All right, you absolutely should contribute to your group today. As I said on Tuesday, don't be a lump, right? Don't be a lump. Get your stuff done. Make sure that you are an active contributing member to your group, and don't you dare put this on everybody else in your group to do it. You 100% need to be contributing to your group. All right. If you remember also, the other page in here that we need to take a look at, maybe, there we go, is this Wingfield Pines testing site info. Now, the reason I point this one out is because, guys, this is where you're getting all of your information for that Google Doc. Okay, so, you know, this Google Doc, the one that your technician should have downloaded and shared with everybody, kind of walks you through some of the background information about Wingfield Pines, maybe what was the weather like that day, some of the background, like the history of Wingfield Pines, and you may be asking, all right, well, I wasn't there, I'm not doing this testing, how do I know that stuff? This page on Canvas has that information for you. It rests within this section, this document, this Wingfield Pines testing journal. It says this document will provide information related to the weather conditions, water temperatures, and dates and times that they tested. And this document looks like this. So it tells you exactly what day, what the water temperatures were on those days, what the weather was like, some of the various pictures that were taken. You know, this is a great journal for you to get some sort of information about not only the weather conditions, but you're actually going to use that page also when we get down to here, this test number 1 about the water temperature. Okay, so you'll have the water temperature, and you'll have to go ahead and determine, all right, is that good, fair, or poor conditions? Okay, now let's scroll down to some of the other tests because I want to show this. Let's say you make it down to test number 2. You're on the pH. Again, it says the directions. You're not going to really do this because the testing has already been done for you. So it's more just you're going to find the data and interpret the data in order to come up with a conclusion at the end. So let's say we're going to look for the pH value of test site number 1 right here. Remember, we're testing 3 different places at Wingfield Pines. The first site, if we go back to that page, the water quality tests right here, water quality testing site number 1. If we click on that, it will take us to this Google Drive page, and then you'll find the pH. You'll be able to click on that picture, and it will show you a picture of what the testing strip for the pH of that water site was. So you need to interpret that picture. You need to tell me what the pH was, and then determine is that good, poor, or even worse, and then determine what the overall water pH of Wingfield Pines could be. Okay, now you have a bunch of these random tests, you know, including where we get down to a thing like test number 8, a visual assessment. Now I think it's for 7, 8, and 9, Wingfield Pines. You get your own separate link for test 7, 8, and 9. You guys can see that here. but we've got our own separate link for Wingfield Pines test site, or test number 7, 8, and 9. So if we click on 7, and let's go back up to 7 so we can see what this one would look like. There's test site 7, the water and soil assessment. So when we click on this, again, now what it will show us is the 3 different sites for that one. So we can see site number 1, water and soil, site number 2, water and soil, site number 3, water and soil, and then there's videos to help compare them. So all sorts of good data for you to be able to determine the answers for all of the information that you need to provide on this document. Okay. Now I'm assuming you won't get totally done with this today, and that's perfectly fine. Remember, this is due at the end of the day Friday. You have the whole period Friday to work on this as well. So lots of time. Some Friday, make sure you set aside time for this conclusion. Everybody should work on the conclusion on Friday. That should be the very last thing that you do with this project. Okay? Guys, sorry that I can't be with you today. I'll do my best to be answering questions through email. But I think if you watch this video and you work together as a group, you should be able to figure a lot of that stuff out on that document. But please let me know if you have any questions, and I will do my best to help you. All right, guys, good luck.